Welcome back to Washington Journal. I'm joined now by Nihad Awad. He's National Executive Director of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR. Nihad, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Amy. Thank you.
You co-founded CAIR in 1994. Tell us about your mission and how you're funded.
So our mission is to enhance the understanding of Islam, because we believe that Islam is misunderstood and Muslims are not well represented, whether in the popular culture, in the media, in the educational system. There's a lot of ignorance about what Islam is and who Muslims are. Although we count in the millions, our numbers exceed now 8 million people. Then we have to protect the civil rights of American Muslims, whether in the workplace, in schools, in public places, in government agencies, so on and so forth. And we also believe in empowering American Muslims to encourage them to be more civically engaged, to vote, and also to run for elections themselves, to serve, because service is important for us as Muslims. And also we build coalitions with like-minded organizations who believe in justice and dignity and civil rights for all. We are funded by the community, simple supporters, donors from all over the country, and also the people from the larger society who believe in our vision and mission.
CAIR has come under criticism, Nihad, in the past for connections to Hamas. Can you clarify for us any past or current connection you have with Hamas?
Zero connection. It's just guilt by association. I am a Palestinian. I'm proud to be Palestinian. We do everything by the book. The organization has been operating for 30 years, 29 years to be precise, has 35 offices. We're the largest political and civil rights organization serving not only our community, but those who need our help. These are just rumors, guilt by association to try to taint us, so that, they damage our credibility. But our credibility has been growing massively with a large support even from the public. People believe in our mission and they judge our work. They don't judge rumors and she said, he said, and the government knows this very well.
I'm going to put up on the screen the information from your organization about the rise of anti-Muslim incidents across the U.S. 774 complaints, including reported bias incidents since October 7th. It's the largest number of complaints reported since December of 2015, after former President Trump declared his intention for a Muslim ban. And Nihad, can you tell us about the rise in these incidents? Of course, the most shocking was the killing of the 6-year-old boy in Illinois and the wounding of his mother. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I have been doing this work for decades now. We've gone through the bombing of the Oklahoma City Federal Mora building, the 9/11 backlash, all of these horrible incidents there. I went through them, our community went through them, but just days after that, we saw like statesmanship. We saw that all of us as Americans, we come together. We do not allow any hatred or any violence against minorities. We did not allow that to continue. Unfortunately, since October 7th, I haven't seen the rampant Islamophobia that our community is facing today. The hate crimes, as you said, Wadia Al-Fayoumi, a 6-year-old boy, Palestinian-American boy, and his mother, he was stabbed 26 times, and his mother was stabbed 12 times. Wadia died. And that's really is due to the humanization of the Palestinians in particular, and American Muslims and Arab Americans in this country, because of the misrepresentation and the misinformation about what happened and what continues to happen in and around Gaza, in occupied the West Bank, and also in Israel. All of these things fuel the hatred and anger among uninformed people, to the point that they take violent action against innocent people. So this is just one incident. There is a lady, 52 years old, pediatrician was stabbed to death near her home when she was sitting on a picnic. We do not know if it was hate crime, but this puts our community on edge. That case is being investigated also by the federal law enforcement. People have been driving their cars into crowds of rallies, and that's very alarming, and that's very suppressing to people's right to speak and to demonstrate. Most of the cases maybe that we have been receiving are from the workplace. People are being threatened to be terminated. People have been terminated. Medical professionals and doctors have been terminated just for expressing sympathy with the Palestinians. So we haven't seen really a good response from the government or public officials to reset the tone and say, no, look, we will not going to allow backlash against any minority, whether Jewish community or Muslim community or Palestinian community or any community. People are free to express themselves. They're entitled to their views, no matter how you may disagree with, but violence, hate crimes will not be tolerated. We haven't been hearing a lot from the public officials and elected officials that assuring statement to the Muslim community or even actions being taken.
And I'll invite our viewers to join the conversation. Democrats 202-748-8000, Republicans 202-748-8001, Independents 202-748-8002. We also have a line set aside for Muslim Americans. You can call us on 202-748-8003 and use that same line for texting. Nihad, I asked our previous guest about the definition of anti-Semitism, so I'd like to ask you about your definition of Islamophobia.
Islamophobia can be Googled, and there are definitions, but the most common definition is the hatred and prejudice against Muslims that leads to acts of discrimination and violence because of one's identity or one's religious views or adherence to a particular religion, in this case, Islam.
And what has been your reaction to President Biden's handling of this Israel-Hamas war, and what's your message to him?
Disastrous. In one word, disastrous. The president has betrayed me as a Palestinian American, as Muslim, as someone who personally voted for him and who's heard him on a Zoom call assuring us that all Americans are equal and he will center human rights in his policy, and the Palestinians deserve dignity and freedom and all of this fluffy talk. But what we see now, he has been adding fuel to the fire. He is not making the region stable, and he's been supporting the oppressor. He's been supporting the occupier, and he's dismissing and minimizing the human suffering of the Palestinians. Doubting their numbers and minimizing their suffering is a form of dehumanization, and has given the many people the green light to hate Muslims and to commit these crimes that we have been seeing. He has given the green light for the Israeli government to be as brutal as the world is watching now, killing over 9,000 people, mostly civilians. The majority of these victims are babies, children. You don't have to watch CNN. You may not see this or on Fox News. Watch Al Jazeera English. Just Google it. If you have really the heart to see it, you will be horrified, as the world has been horrified. So the president has betrayed our trust as voters. And let me say also that he has betrayed the American trust. He's been shipping billions of dollars, not to fix schools, not to employ the unemployed, not to insure the uninsured, not to help impoverished communities around our society, not to rebuild the infrastructure of this country. He's been shipping our hard-earned tax money to Israel, a foreign country. And at the same time, he's defending the Ukrainians, rightly so, against the invasion. So the dilemma for us that I cannot comprehend, like millions of Americans, How come you support the occupier in Palestine and you support the occupied? You know, if he